Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining. I hope you had a fantastic weekend wherever you are, whatever you are doing, and I hope that you are ready for the week. Okay, so today we are going to talk about what the color of your period says about your hormones. So I don't know about you guys, but I definitely grew up hating having a period. It's messy, it's annoying, it comes at the worst times possible. I had no positive feelings towards it whatsoever until I got older, and really until I started learning about fertility, how to support a healthy female body, what our hormones were doing, and I realized that our period is actually a really great indicator of our health. It's like getting this little report card every single month of what your hormones have been up to and how well they've been working. And so I want to share that information as much as possible so that we can turn around the way we see our period, because we're going to get it, at least we should be, if our bodies are working well, every month for the majority of our life. And so any way that we can see this as a positive, as something that's actually helping us, the better our lives will be, right? Okay, so your cycle really is your fifth vital sign. Your hormones are creating all of these things in your body. And so by observing the end result, right, your period or your cycle, we can interpret what our hormones have been doing. And the color is really the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing to observe, and it's the easiest thing to correlate with what has been going on with our hormones. So we're just going to go down this beautiful gradient. I hope that this is, I hope you enjoy this as much as, oh, it's on this side, as much as I do. I like making this. It was really pretty. Okay, so light pink. This is like, you have a very light cycle. You are probably the kind of woman who your period is only 2 or 3 days. It's really short to begin with. It's very light, and you get just this very light pink, easy cycle. But this really is a sign of low estrogen. So estrogen is a growth hormone. That's really what it does. And one of its main jobs is to grow this really thick, healthy uterine lining so that if you get pregnant, there's somewhere for the baby to implant, right? That's what our bodies should be doing. But if you don't have enough estrogen, you're not building up that really thick uterine lining. You're getting just a very thin one. And so by the time your period comes around, it's very light, very faint. And this is an indicator of what your hormones have been up to. Now, low estrogen could be one of two things. So it could be a low production of estrogen, like your body just isn't producing enough estrogen, or it could be a balance issue where your body is producing too much of other hormones, and so by comparison, estrogen is too low. That's important to know, to take the whole picture into account, because you could be looking at your estrogen on paper and be like, oh, it's in the perfect range. But looking at the ratios of everything else, you can be getting basically the cause of low estrogen in your symptoms, even though on paper it looks perfect. So this is really important to know. And in either case, whatever the root cause, estrogen is really important for bone health. It's important for having a healthy libido, for having an easy transition into menopause. We want to make sure that our estrogen is robust in those years beforehand to have an easy transition. So you want to make sure that that is balanced as soon as possible. So from there, we've got this nice, just red, right? And this is what we're looking for. This is what we want to see. Cranberry red with small clots, anything less than about the size of a quarter, totally normal. We should be seeing some clots, right? It's not just blood, there's tissue. And so you want to make sure that all of that is being removed. So clots are totally normal. It's just when they get large that it becomes a problem. So if you're seeing things, as long as it's smaller than a quarter, you're totally good. So this cranberry color really is, it's a good color for the correct balance between estrogen and progesterone. This is a healthy, balanced color. Now, if it starts getting dark, right, and you start seeing this kind of really deep color, this dark, almost purplish blue color, especially with a lot of clots, this can be a sign of too high estrogen, right? So estrogen is our growth hormone. And so if you have too much of that growth, you're going to be growing a super thick uterine lining. And then by the time your period comes, you've got these large clots. It's really dark blood. You are probably having very long periods. They could be 7 days or longer. And you are probably also the woman who's really prone to PMS. All of this is related. And so having this really long period, a lot of clots, it's very, very common to also be having PMS problems. The breast tenderness, anxiety, mood swings, acne flare-up, all of that is related to what is going on with your hormones. So this fourth color is brown bleeding, and this is actually pretty common, especially seeing brown blood at the very beginning of your cycle or at the very end. So like if you get a little bit of brown spotting before you actually get a period, or in the days after your period, there's a little bit of brown. That's a very common pattern, and it's very indicative of low progesterone. So if you've ever seen a graph of our hormones during our cycle and what they're doing, at the very end, I should use this hand so you can see, at the very end of your cycle, your estrogen and progesterone both plummet. And it's this decrease that triggers your period to come. It tells your body, there was no pregnancy this month, we're done with this cycle, let's release everything and start over fresh, right? But if your progesterone is too low, that might not trigger fully, so you might not fully release everything that needs to be gotten rid of. So this brown bleeding is really some remnants of the cycle before that didn't get fully released, and that during the month just slowly started to oxidize, which is why it's that brown color. And so next week we're going to do an entire video on what to do about brown bleeding, because this is so common. Very, very common for a little bit of the spotting at least, if not like full on just brown bleeding. And low progesterone is a really big issue when it comes to fertility. So if this is you, if this is your color, be sure to tune in next week so that you can get that video on what to do about that. Okay, so there's one more color that we need to address, which is no color. It is a missing period. This last color is just as important. If you're not having a period at all, that definitely is saying something about your hormones, right? Our menstrual cycle is a vital sign, whether you're getting your period or not. It's and really, like, whether you're trying to conceive or not, it doesn't really matter what age you are, what's going on in terms of lifestyle. Our bodies should be going through this process each month, right? And so if your period is just missing completely, that is a big sign that your body needs support. And there can be a lot of things going on there. So it could be the low estrogen, it could be low progesterone. For a lot of women, it's too low body fat. This is very much, if this is you are like a big exerciser, like you run marathons or you do a lot of CrossFit, you're probably amazing at it, but you might be under eating, and so your body just doesn't have like the raw materials that it needs to maintain a healthy menstrual cycle. That's fairly common. And if that's not you, but you're still not getting your period, it could be something like PCOS. But in either case, it is still a little report card of what your hormones have been doing that you can use. Our menstrual cycle really is our fifth vital sign. And so if your period is missing completely, that is like a sign that your body is screaming out for help. All of these signs and symptoms, like all of the annoying things that we deal with, the headaches, the bloating, energy issues, all of that stuff that we wish like would just go away, that really is your body trying to communicate with you of what's going wrong and where it needs support. It really is. Like, our bodies don't have the ability to communicate with our conscious minds in language that we can understand. All that our bodies can do is create pain, right? Create discomfort. It can show us in these signs and symptoms what is going wrong. And then all we need to do is be aware, which is a big one, and care about ourselves enough to go out and find the answers to what these messages really mean. So many of us are so disconnected from how our bodies feel, which really makes a lot of sense. You know, a lot of us are in a huge amount of discomfort. We all are dealing with bloating, headaches, migraines, difficult bowel movements, like whatever it is for you. So many of us, and like if you look, you know, just in our world at the other people around us, we can see it. Like we are all in such discomfort. And so to take a minute to really check in with yourself and feel that, it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. I totally get that. But what's amazing is that when you do become aware of the discomfort, that's what motivates you to find the answers of how you can support your body, right? If we are totally disconnected from our bodies and we're just living in our minds, in television, in stories, in fantasy, and we're all up here, then it might feel easier day to day to go about our lives and cope with this. But we'll never go seek out the answers to solve what's going on underneath, right? It's like if you're not aware that you have a problem, why would you ever seek out the solution to that problem? And so by taking a few minutes to just check in with ourselves and really feel how our bodies feel, even if it feels really bad, that is where you find the desire in yourself, the self-love and the self-care to say, I don't want to accept this. I don't want to feel like this for the rest of my life. This is not okay. What can I do about it? Right? And then you go out and you find your answers. And so what's beautiful about our menstrual cycles is that we get this incredible array of information every single month that can give you that information about what your body needs and how it needs to be supported. It's really amazing. And that is available to you anytime you want to learn about it, right? Even if you don't have a period right now, if it's been like 6 months since your last cycle, you can pick up learning about your signs and symptoms at any point and start getting that information from your body. It's incredible. All right, everyone, I hope that this was helpful. So next week, we're going to do a video all about what to do if you do have brown bleeding, because that is so common. By far, what I see the most with clients is a lot of brown bleeding, a lot of brown spotting, things that just need to be cleared out. So tune in for that next week. And in the meantime, if you want to talk about any of this, if you want help with any of this, you know where to find me. I am here on Facebook, and I'm over at parsleyandpumpkins.com. All right, everyone, I'll talk to you soon.